It started like any other calm Thursday morning at the Wallace residence. The Florida sun slipped through half-open blinds, and the comforting aroma of coffee floated through the air. Jeremy Wallace had just finished feeding the backyard chickens when he heard a knock, 3 sharp, deliberate taps on the front door. He paused, eyebrows drawing together. This wasn't a package delivery. Not a neighbor either. And definitely not the HOA. They preferred long, all-caps emails and passive-aggressive flyers. Upstairs, Jeremy's brother-in-law Nate was catching up with Derek, a quiet, observant Navy SEAL home on leave. They were trading war stories over black coffee while Jeremy prepped for the day ahead. But the knock, it wasn't casual. It had a practiced rhythm that tried to sound official, and Jeremy knew the difference. He'd served in active war zones, led tactical missions, and now trained law enforcement officers in advanced firearms safety. He knew when something felt off. He opened the front door slowly. Standing on the porch were 2 men in their early 30s, beards military trimmed, black polos beneath tactical-style vests. Their gear read HOA Compliance Enforcement in bold letters. The taller one stepped forward and held out a plastic wallet with a laminated card, a fake gold star, red print, no authority. "Sir," the man began, voice robotic, "we're responding to a complaint from the Homeowners Association. Your property's been flagged for non-compliance with insulation protocols concerning firearms containment. We need to inspect your gun safe." Jeremy blinked. "Excuse me?" The shorter one, broader and tenser, jumped in. "HOA code mandates all safes in this neighborhood meet decibel containment standards. We need the code. Now." Jeremy stared at them. "The code," the man snapped. "Now." Non-compliance carries escalating fines and asset seizure under Ordinance 4C. For a few seconds, only birdsong filled the air. Inside, Jeremy's daughter Grace sat on the couch, watching cartoons, 9 years old. Diagnosed with type 1 diabetes last year. Inside the very gun safe they were demanding to open were not only firearms, but emergency insulin pens and glucagon kits, safely stored. Accessible only to him. These weren't just scammers. They were a direct threat to his family. He looked at both men one last time, then calmly closed the door, turned the deadbolt, and called up the stairs with a steady voice. "Nate, Derek, we've got a situation." Derek didn't move from the upstairs window. His relaxed posture vanished. His eyes sharpened. He tugged the blinds down an inch and scanned the porch. "They're fake," he muttered. "Cheap security decal on a Civic. Zip-tied antenna. That badge looks like it came from an inkjet printer." Jeremy stood behind him, fists clenched. It wasn't the scam that got to him, it was the proximity to his daughter. The timing. The fact that someone masquerading as an authority had demanded access to one of the most critical parts of their home. "This stops now," Nate said, already pulling out his phone. "Call the sheriff." Jeremy did. He knew the system well, he'd trained half the county on it. As the emergency line connected, the home's motion detectors chimed. The men were no longer at the door. They were walking the perimeter. "One's at your side gate," Derek reported. "Others checking your utility box." Then came the yelling, from the backyard, the kitchen window, the living room glass. "You think you have a choice here? You're already in violation. The HOA can revoke your property rights, last chance. Open the safe." Jeremy didn't react with anger, he turned focused. Nate's jaw tensed, but it was Derek who moved first. He walked calmly to a duffel near the wall and unzipped it. One by one, he laid out his tools. Gloves. Headset. GoPro. Compact body mic. No weapons. Just calm, deliberate readiness. He slid on the gloves and looked up. Let's show them whose house they're in. From that moment, everything changed. The Wallace home wasn't just a target anymore, it was a fortress with trained soldiers inside. 5 minutes later, the scene outside had shifted. The two imposters were pretending to continue their inspection. One was at the shed, prying the lock with a bent screwdriver. The other fumbled with the garage keypad like it owed him money. They didn't realize two trained combat specialists were watching from just inside. Then Derek and Nate stepped out. They didn't shout. Didn't threaten. Just walked slow, steady, like it was a drill. purpose in every step. The scammers froze. Their confidence cracked. Something in Nate's eyes made the shorter one step back. Then came the low rumble of an approaching engine. Deputy Ruiz pulled up in a cruiser. Mid-40s. Built like a brick wall. Calm, but ready. He scanned the yard. Fake gear, real tension, and two men who looked more military than municipal. The tall imposter tried to bluff. He waved his badge like it meant something. "We're with HOA enforcement," he said quickly. "This property is in violation of Ordinance 4C. We're conducting a legal inspection." Ruiz didn't blink. He took the badge, turned it over once, and let it flop in his hand like a wet rag. "This look official to you?" "Sir, we're authorized." Ruiz cut in, voice low and flat. "You're impersonating a peace officer. That's a felony in this state. And you're 2 seconds away from resisting arrest." The taller man panicked, stepped back, then ran straight across the yard. But Derek was already in motion. 3 strides. 1 pivot. No drama. No takedown. Just a smooth interception between a trash bin and a parked truck. Derek pinned him gently, one arm at the shoulder, the other controlling the wrist. "Easy," he said. "It's over." By the time Ruiz reached them, Derek had already delivered a quick, accurate rundown: dates, actions, threats. No extra words. Back on the driveway, Nate faced the second imposter. Silent. Calm. He pulled out his phone. "Just to be clear," he said. "This has all been recorded. From the first knock to right now. You want to keep talking, or are you done?" The man's posture collapsed. He said nothing. He just sat down on the curb. He knew this wasn't just a house anymore. He'd walked into a coordinated response. A trap built not of bait, but of discipline. Backup arrived moments later. There was no resistance. No excuses. Just 2 con artists caught mid-stunt. The charges came quickly: impersonation, unlawful attempted entry, harassment, trespassing, just the beginning. The investigation confirmed everything. The 2 weren't with any HOA. No contracts, no credentials, no authorization. They were recently released felons testing a scam that preyed on confusion, fear, and suburban routine. They hadn't expected Jeremy. They hadn't expected his brother-in-law to be ex-military. And they definitely hadn't counted on a visiting Navy SEAL with a GoPro in his bag. The sheriff's office issued a public statement the next day, praising the family's calm, control, and flawless response. The HOA board scrambled. Within 48 hours, they issued a formal apology to every resident, clarified that they had no enforcement personnel, and launched a new policy requiring ID photos, prior scheduling, and written approval for any inspections going forward. The story blew up. Local news ran the footage from Nate's phone. Deputy Ruiz's deadpan quote made the rounds online. "Might be the dumbest front door scam I've seen in 20 years. You don't pull that stunt on a house with 2 Special Forces veterans drinking coffee inside." Neighbors came by to shake hands. Kids on bikes slowed down to whisper, "That's the house." Even the mayor thanked the Wallace family in the next council meeting for reminding the town what real preparedness looks like. And Jeremy? He never yelled. Never opened the safe. Never let the chaos control the moment. Because when your purpose is clear, when your people are trained, and when your home is locked tight, you don't need to prove anything. And if someone comes knocking with a fake badge and a bad plan, well, the porch light might be on. But that doesn't mean you're getting in.